Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman, and today I want to show you how I plant my Little Lime hydrangea. And this is a beautiful hydrangea. It's from Proven Winners Color Choice, and a lot of you have asked me to show you some hydrangeas that are a little bit smaller than some of the giant ones I've been showing you. So I have a gorgeous giant limelight hydrangea that's in my backyard. It's tremendous. It's probably about 20 feet tall right now. It's about 15 years old, and it gets the most beautiful, beautiful blooms. But I wanted to share this beautiful shrub with you because it's a smaller version of the limelight hydrangea, and it's called Little Lime. And some of the dimensions of its spacing and its height, it's going to get between 3 to 5 feet tall, and it's going to be about 3 to 5 feet wide. And so this is going to be a more compact version of that, and it's perfect for like a landscaping plan that can't take like a 20-foot tall limelight hydrangea, but you're still going to get beautiful blooms that look like a hydrangea, like a limelight hydrangea bloom on it, but it's in that more compact version. And you can use this for your garden, you can use it, like I said, in landscaping. So I'm going to show you how I get this hydrangea in the ground. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to water this hydrangea in. And most of the time I will water my plants in the night before I put them in the ground because I want to give them a chance to absorb some of that water, to be super hydrated, to be super happy before they even get into the ground. So I'm going to add some water. You want to make sure those roots don't get soggy. You never want your roots to sit in water. So make sure that the pot that you have has good drainage. When I'm digging the hole, I want to make sure that I dig a hole that's twice the width of the plant and the same height, because I want to make sure that those roots have a lot of space to kind of wiggle around, get established, and it can do it easier when the soil has been pre-dug. It's not like so compact. It's not really, tight like it is before you dig it up. But the height needs to be the same because I want to make sure that I plant this hydrangea either level with my soil or slightly raised. I never want to plant my hydrangea below the soil level because all the water is going to pile on top of it, and it may cause puddling, and it may start to rot out the plant, because plants like to have a lot of aeration around their base. So let's dig this out, and sometimes I'll make sure I have a little bucket next to me to capture some of that soil. I want to make sure that when I'm looking at my garden that I have the best face of my plant looking forward. And I know that might sound silly, but a lot of times plants will have a better looking side. So at this point, when I see this side of the plant, I see kind of like a big gap. I see kind of like a big hole. So I'm not going to have that as the front of my garden. That's not the best face. I think that the best face that this plant has is probably right about here. So this looks like it's more full. I like the way that this shape looks in the garden, and so I'm going to make sure that that's the face that I have planting forward. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently remove it from the container. I'm going to make sure I don't snap the neck as I'm doing that. So just be super gentle. And since you watered it in the night before, it's going to be a little easier to remove from the pot. That just makes it a little bit easier. So let's just give it a little bit of a shake here. Shake, shake, shake. And the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I loosen up some of these roots. So if you can check out some of these roots on this plant, I want to make sure that they're not root bound, because sometimes roots get really tightly wrapped around the outside of the plant, on top of the plant, and underneath the plant. And what they do is they block the moisture from getting inside the actual plant. So we're going to kind of loosen things up, make sure that there's no root barrier, like no root bound barrier that's stopping it. And sometimes people will even use like a razor to kind of cut in there just a little bit. But these guys are looking really good. This is a really beautiful root ball right now. Okay, now where's the best side of this plant again? Now I lost it. I remember you. Okay, you were the best side. Let's make sure it's not planted too low. Right now it looks like it's a little bit too low. So I think if I was to put this plant in the ground right now, it's going to sit beneath that soil level. So I'm going to backfill some of the soil. You can tell how easy this is to do because we had that pot waiting for us here. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. It's slightly above the soil level, so this is great. So now I'm going to start filling it in with some of that soil. And what I'm going to do is to start tamping down some of the soil with my feet to get rid of air pockets. So I'm going to get in here, kind of tamping it all down. Okay, so now we're just going to water it in, and I'm watering at the base. I'm not doing an overhead watering. And notice how all of this water is going to start to drain out. So guys, as you can tell before, the water started draining out really fast, and now it kind of slowed down, which means that it's not sandy soil, because sandy soil, the water would have completely like ran through that soil right away. But right now it's taken a little while to drain, so that's letting me know that it's well-drained soil. So now we're at the stage where we watered it in, and we're going to wind up adding some mulch. So I like to add about 2 to 3 inches of mulch around my hydrangea, and what I do is I don't build it up against the base of the plant, because hydrangeas need to breathe. So you want to make sure that you always have about 6 inches or 7 inches of space. And what I'll usually do is just apply some mulch around the drip line of my hydrangea. Now the drip line is basically where that water rolls off the plant when it rains. And so I'm going to start doing that right about here. And I'm going to add about 2 to 3 inches. Make sure you don't do that volcano that people do sometimes, where they build up that mulch against the base and it looks like a big volcano coming down, because that's a no-no. And this mulch is just going to make sure that that moisture stays by the roots, and it gives the roots a chance to absorb the water, so the water doesn't like rush right back into the environment and go back in up because of the sunshine. And it's just going to give it some extra trapped in moisture. Okay, we're done. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and please feel free to hop on over to my Cranberry Fields Instagram page to say hi, and also please say hi over on my Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group, because there's thousands of gardeners from all over the world, and they're asking and answering tons of garden questions over there. And please say hi to us over on my brand new podcast. They're all in descriptions below, and let me know where you're viewing this from in this great big beautiful world. I love to see how our flower tribe is growing around the globe each week, and I will see you in the next video. Choking to death in my garden. Help! Now, is it sitting too high? Of course it is.